There has been so much excitement surrounding the moon since the Artemis mission, but there's a lot of other companies, private companies, that are also going to the moon to do some great things. And I am so excited to introduce you to Tom Markusic. He is the founder of Firefly Aerospace. Tom, we're so glad to have you with us.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
So let's get right to it and talk about how you were the first commercial lunar lander on the moon with Blue Ghost back in 2025. How awesome was that feeling when you accomplished that? And what made you want to go to the moon to explore like this?
Yeah, so NASA created a program called Commercial Lunar Payload Services, which enabled small companies like ours to participate in the overall NASA mission to go to the moon. So that was a great opportunity for the company. And then to have actually pulled it off, it seemed very surreal, honestly. When you build these types of things, you do a lot of testing. So this sort of seemed like another test until you realize that, oh, this wasn't a test, this was the real thing. So yeah, definitely a landmark in my lifetime for sure.
And mine too. I remember watching it and cheering you on from our studios here. But an exciting fact about you, Tom, is you're actually in Ohio and you have some roots that are based here in Northeast Ohio.
Yeah, I'm from Northeast Ohio. I went to the Ohio State University for my
Woo!
undergraduate, and Ohio is just a great place to grow up. There obviously an incredible heritage in aviation and aerospace, but great training at Ohio State, and the whole industrial background of Ohio. It all kind of comes together to be a great place to grow up and go off and do these sorts of things.
So, what was it that made you want to go into space exploration?
My parents bought me a little model rocket in fifth grade, and I launched that, and it just was very shocking to me, and I think it triggered something in my mind. And we also went to the Air Force Museum in Dayton at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and I saw an airplane called an XB-70 Valkyrie, a bomber from the 1960s, and it was like unlike anything in my little farm boy experience in Northeast Ohio I'd ever seen, and it just triggered something in me to think, wow, there's really something bigger going on in this world, and I think that planted the seed.
So, why Firefly Aerospace? Did you like fireflies? Did you think it sounds like a nice mix between Earth and space?
Well, when I decided to start a company, I had to have a name, and I was laying on my back porch in California, looking up at the sky, and I just had this image of someday when we're going to Mars, it'll be sort of like when the pioneers went out west. There'd be all these Conestoga wagons, except they'd be up in space, and except for a horse whinnying and them rolling off, there'd be all these little rocket engines lighting up as they all just left together to go to Mars. And I thought, wow, it's going to sort of look like fireflies in the sky when they leave. And I was like, oh, Firefly. Flying on Fire is really kind of a cool name for a rocket company. So that's where it set in.
So, for those who may not be familiar with what Firefly does, can you explain a little bit better?
So Firefly is a spacecraft and rocket company, which basically means that Firefly has a solution for getting you off of the Earth to space, allowing you to maneuver around in space or even land on remote destinations like the moon or Mars.
And what do you hope to accomplish? I mean, you already had some big strides made in 2025, as we talked about. What's next?
Firefly is going to continue to grow in the complexity of the type of missions they do in all of those areas. They're building bigger rockets, they're building more capable lunar landers, and they're building new platforms to do things in space. For example, space defense, which is becoming a big thing. Me personally, I like starting companies, so part time at Firefly now, but I'm full time starting a new company called Frontera. And what Frontera is going to do is develop an airplane that can go to space. So no more tubular rockets, but take off from a runway, go to space, go to orbit, and land on a runway, go anywhere in the world in less than an hour type of thing. That's my next sort of magnum opus project.
Okay, you're gonna have to call me for that because that seems pretty cool, and I love flying as well. Tom, tell me, what do you hope what you're doing with Firefly and then with your new ventures? What is this going to do for more the commercial companies versus the private? We go private sector, public sector. What do you hope you're going to be accomplishing for other companies out there?
Well, Firefly and Frontera, we're really part of what's called a new space. It's a movement to dramatically lower the cost and increase the frequency of access to space. Now, this was really pioneered by SpaceX, and I was very fortunate to be an early employee at SpaceX to sort of get on the new space wave. But ultimately, we're businesses, so we intend to make money, obviously, but more broadly for humanity, we're going to open up access to space and make it a place where people can live and work and gather resources to do great things here on Earth as well.
That's so wonderful. Tom, is there anything else that you want to share, that maybe some fun facts or that you think people might be interested in knowing about the kind of work that you're doing or the work that's happening right now to take us to places we've never seen before?
Yeah, I would suggest that everyone who's watching this sit back and think of in all the history of humanity, we have been born at a time when people will first touch other planets. People will walk on other planets. So it's pretty extraordinary to think of all the thousands and tens of thousands of years of history that all of us were born and are going to see humans walking on Mars in the very near future.
I love that. Tom Markusic, the founder of Firefly Aerospace, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck with your ventures. We look forward to seeing where you take your rockets next.
You're welcome. Buy a ticket. Bye bye.